Welcome to the Daybreak with Jeff Slakey podcast. I'm so happy you found us. Please subscribe, rate, review, and share this with your circle of influence. It's a collection of the interviews, news, and conversation during Daybreak with Jeff Slakey on I-Fiber One News Radio, KMAS, weekdays from 6 to 9. Good Wednesday morning to you. It is the Daybreak Show. Good morning, Spencer.
Good morning. Happy midweek. What's going on?
Yeah, with that Monday Memorial Day off, it makes these short weeks move by pretty quick. Hope all is well for you. And spirits seem up in Mason County after hearing about our Phase 2 issuance over the weekend. Coming up today in the news, we'll talk a little bit about coronavirus, of course. Thurston County Environmental Health has some news on some sewer lines and Percival Creek. And the city of Lacey is out this morning with some good advice for folks who are heading back into the office. Many for more than a month it's been without time being in the office, and there's some things you need to think about for sure. Some good news coming out of the city of Lacey this morning.
I'll check the weather. We should be hitting the low 80s over the next couple of days. We'll talk about that. We'll chat about the news and more here on Daybreak.
Mason County Public Health's daily brief noted no change since yesterday in COVID numbers in the county. Total is 34 positive cases since coronavirus began in the county. 6 cases are active right now. There have been 670 tests as of the 20th, according to the Department of Health. Mason County Public Health continues contact interviews. The most recent patient is a female in their 20s, currently isolating at home.
On Saturday, May 23rd, Mason County was approved to move to Phase 2 of Governor Inslee's Safe Start Plan. Business sectors listed in Phase 2 may reopen only after the state publishes its guidelines for the specific sector, and an individual business can implement those guidelines.
And we've got links to that on our website, ifiber1newsradio.com, also on the county's website. 21 counties are now approved to move to Phase 2. Adams, Aston, Columbia, Cowlitz, Ferry, Garfield, Grant, Grays Harbor, Island, Jefferson, Lewis, Lincoln, Mason, Pacific, Pend Oreille, San Juan, Skamania, Spokane, Stevens, Wahkiakum, and Whitman. There are 3 counties eligible to submit a variance. That's Clallam, Kitsap, and Thurston. The Thurston County Commissioners voted unanimously to submit their variance application, along with the mayors of the major cities in Thurston County yesterday. Applications from Kittitas and Clark are on hold until further discussion due to an outbreak investigation, which is interesting because I feel like it was 2 weeks ago I was watching the news on TV, Spencer, and I saw they were showing I guess, some purported hotspots or anticipated hotspots across the country, and Kittitas County was one of those listed, and that was 2 weeks ago on the news programs. So pretty interesting how they follow that and how far behind we are, in knowing where the virus is.
That's really interesting. I didn't know that. I'll have to look into that and see why these certain ones are flaring up or looking like they're going to. Very interesting.
I'd hate to assume too much right now, but I'm going to say that Kittitas, Clark counties, they may be in large agricultural population bases, okay. Or those meat facilities, or different types of large scale facilities.
Oh wow. Yeah, extra attention needs to be placed there for sure. Thurston County Environmental Health learned that there was a sewer leak or overflow from the bypass sewer lines that crosses Percival Creek near where there was a bridge collapse in February. The spill started sometime over the weekend and was discovered by City of Olympia staff this morning. The system discharged approximately 1,400 gallons of raw sewage per hour directly into the creek. Thurston County Environmental Health staff are posting signs at Marathon Park, Capitol Lake, and West Bay Landing. There are already signs at Lower Percival Creek.
And the city has stopped the spill, and Thurston Environmental Health working with the city to assess the creek's water quality and let the public know. Water quality testing expected to take place today. It's not clear how much sewage spilled into the creek. People and pets should avoid contact with the water below the Cooper Point Bridge, to include Percival Cove, Capitol Lake, and Inner Bud Inlet until testing shows it's safe.
The City of Lacey advises businesses to flush the pipes and water fixtures in their building prior to reopening if it has been vacant for more than 30 days without any water usage. And, of course, many of these buildings have been vacant for more than 30 days. And it's something I hadn't thought of. With little or no water running through water pipes and fixtures for an extended period of time, stagnant water conditions can result in discolored water, odors, and lower chlorine levels. Higher concentrations of lead and copper can also develop, depending on the age, condition, and type of plumbing and fixtures in the building. Fresh water should be drawn into the building's water system and stagnant water flushed out before it is used for drinking. All the cold water faucets should be flushed for a minimum of 20 minutes or until the water is noticeably colder than when the flushing process began.
Wow, yeah. Being closed for months on end, and then you go into the office, and then you don't think about this, and there could be more bacteria there in the water. So a to-do checklist, of course, as Spencer was just mentioning, flush hot and cold water through all points of use. Check ice machines for old ice. Clean those things. Determine if your water heater manufacturer recommends draining after prolonged periods of non-use. Clean all decorative water features like fountains, as bacteria could grow, and ensure safety equipment, including fire sprinkler systems, eye wash stations, and safety showers are cleaned and well maintained. That last one, businesses, of course, have fire sprinkler systems. Hopefully, eye wash stations and safety showers are a little more unique, but definitely something to think about as we get ready to reopen here in phase 2. That would be just another terrible setback for business owners.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
A woman was shot in the head late last night after exchanging gunfire with a Washington state trooper along I-5 near Chehalis. Como TV reporting a state trooper stopped along I-5 at milepost 70 to help a woman when she pulled out a gun. The trooper and the woman exchanged gunfire. The woman was shot in the head and airlifted to Harborview Medical Center, but the trooper was not hit. Several lanes of I-5 near Chehalis were closed last night while authorities investigate the shooting. Again, today on the show, we got more local news and conversations. A reminder, the senior shout-out hotline is open now at 426-1030. Press 0 and leave your message for your graduating senior. More Daybreak is on the way.
From the iFiber One News Radio studios, you're listening to Daybreak.
Good Wednesday morning again here on the Daybreak Show. Hope you are having a good start to the day. Spencer, how are you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. It's a great morning. Thank you.
Going to take a look now at some regional stories across the Northwest. The state of Washington implementing safety recommendations to battle a large outbreak of COVID in an agricultural county in the central part of the state. This could lead into our earlier conversation on the local news on why certain counties are being looked at a little closer. Yakima County, a major food producer, has recorded nearly 3,000 cases among its 250,000 residents, and infections have moved into its massive farm and food processing sector. Officials said yesterday that many cases are showing up on farms and meat plants and fruit and veggie processing warehouses. The big increase in the county came as other parts of Washington are reporting shrinking numbers.
A new study says a comprehensive system of testing, contact tracing, and quarantines will be needed to avoid a burst of new COVID-19 infections before King County can ease social distancing restrictions. The Seattle Times reports the study from the Bellevue, Washington-based Institute for Disease Modeling says such measures could enable economic and social activity in the region to double from current levels without a corresponding increase in infections. But it says if King County can't increase testing capacity, fails in its efforts to notify the close contacts of positive cases, or can't convince people to isolate if they've been exposed to the virus, new infections could sharply increase.
The Pac-12 Conference says it's allowing voluntary workouts on campus for all sports beginning June 15th, subject to the decision of each school and where allowed by local and state guidelines. The decision was made by the presidents and chancellors of the conference schools and followed an announcement by the NCAA that schools can reopen for voluntary activities beginning next Monday. The conference's COVID-19 Medical Advisory Committee created a series of guidelines and protocols for schools to follow once they decide for individual workouts. And as Far as we know, we are hearing more and more news about the potential for fall collegiate football in some fashion or another. And if that is the case, we'll have Cougar football for you here on the airwaves and hopefully some Gonzaga basketball by winter time.
College football conferences and television networks have agreed to hold off on announcing start times for early season games. CBS Sports, ESPN, Fox Sports, and their affiliated networks typically announce early game times for the football bowl subdivision conferences on June 1st. The two sides decided to wait a few weeks for the 2020 season as sports like the NHL and NBA work towards returning after shutting down due to the coronavirus pandemic. The college football season is scheduled to begin with a handful of games on August 29th and a full slate of games the following week.
More news and conversation is coming up here on the Daybreak Show. Hope you're having a good Wednesday midweek here. More news coming up.
You're listening to Daybreak on iFiber One News Radio.
As Wednesday rolls on, we have a cool thing to look for on NASA television this afternoon. Good morning, Spencer. How are you?
I'm doing great. I've been binge watching, not so much now, but during quarantine, I was binge watching NASA television, watching all the launches that we've ever had back to back. All of them.
Isn't it pretty fascinating how they'll have that live feed of the ISS and then all of a sudden, wouldn't you know it, they turn the feed off. What are they hiding, I wonder? Something to think about it. So I don't remember a lot of this, but I know like in the 60s and in the 70s, people would gather around their televisions and all of these launches would be huge televised events. And I'm assuming the unfortunate tragedy with the Challenger in the mid-'80s changed that as they showed that to school kids all across the country live. And, of course, we know what happened there. There has not been a lot of the pomp and circumstance when it comes to these feats of marvel launching rockets out of our atmosphere. But apparently today is going to be a big day for this.
Yeah, this is pretty cool. Kelly Clarkson is joining Katy Perry for an out-of-this-world event today. The singer will be performing the national anthem ahead of that launch of SpaceX's Crew Dragon capsule from the Kennedy Space Center in Cape Canaveral, Florida, and that's happening today. It's the first crewed space mission to be launched from U.S. soil since 2011. I didn't realize it had been that long.
Yeah.
It's been a long time.
They're looking at a 4:33. No, that doesn't seem right. These are both, let's see. I would say it's a 1 o'clock Eastern.
It looks like she'll be singing that
for Kelly to be singing. So what is that? 10 to 11, 11, 12, 12 to 1. 10 o'clock, 10 our time, 10 in the morning our time, Kelly Clarkson singing. The SpaceX launch is going to be at 1:30 our time.
Yeah.
So there's pre-launch. So there's like a whole pregame show of this. Pre-launch coverage, the performance, be on NASA TV, other platforms. The Discovery and Science Channel will also be airing a special called Space Launch Live. America returns to space starting at 9 to 10, 10, 11, 12, 10 to 11, 11, 12, 12, 11 o'clock our time. Sorry, I'm doing my quick East Coast, West Coast time zone math here. Pretty cool there. And I guess there's going to be a lot of folks part of this.
Yeah, and I think Simon Cowell and Screech from Saved by the Bell are the two judges. Is that what I'm reading? No, I'm just kidding. They're going to leave them alone. There's not going to be any judging. Kelly Clarkson was one of my favorites to ever come out of American Idol. She was great. The special will also include appearances by Adam Savage, former NASA engineer, and YouTube star Mark Robert. Surprise celebrity guests. I don't know who that might be, but former and current astronauts as well. So this is kind of cool that they're making this a big deal again, especially for the younger generation that may not realize. You're right. I mean, families used to gather around the TV and watch this stuff. I remember an episode of The Wonder Years, which was one of my favorite shows, and they really encapsulated that really well, where the whole family was watching the moonwalk and the moon landing, and every television set pretty much unless you were living, in a cave, but everybody who had TV had their TVs set to things like that.
Yeah. Well, my mom told me the story when she used to work at Kentucky Fried Chicken down in either San Bernardino or somewhere down there, Oakland area, and they had a little TV in the back there that they had it on. You just had it on and you were watching it because it was such a momentous event. You said surprise celebrity guest. Now, I don't know if this is the guest, but here's a tie-in to this story. Tom Cruise's American Made and Edge of Tomorrow director Doug Liman has signed on to helm Cruise's forthcoming as yet untitled action-adventure film that is going to be shot in outer space. With the help of Elon Musk's SpaceX and NASA, both of the people that are being worked with today in the launch, they're making plans to actually travel to space to shoot the film.
Wow. Of
course, Cruise, who does his own stunts, has to undergo intense training, and he has to withstand an outer space flight. Of course, nothing for the daring actor. He broke his ankle when he was leaping from one rooftop to another in the most recent Mission Impossible back in 2018, Mission Impossible Fallout. So he's been doing his stunts for a long, long time. So this might all tie in together today. It'll be fascinating to watch. Space Launch Live, America Returns to Space, is at 11 o'clock our time on Discovery and Science. You can also see a lot of this on the NASA TV channel. I'm definitely putting this on today.
Yeah,
we're definitely going to check this one out.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's awesome.
Sounds like it's going to be fun.
All right, more Daybreak Show on the way.
From the iFiber One News Radio studios, you're listening to Daybreak.
Good morning to you. Jeff Slakey here. Spencer Hughes as well on the Daybreak Show on this Wednesday, and a good Wednesday morning to you. As Phase 2 reopens much of Mason County, there will be different looks to many of the businesses that you have seen. Saw Cooper Studios was working on plexiglass front covers for all of the kiosks and different things. You can get in touch with Amy and Forrest about theirs. Plexiglass sales is seeing an uptick. ABC's Michelle Franson has a story for us coming out of Kansas about these plexiglass sales. It's a big time shift and increase as people are looking to secure and protect not only the workers but the customers. Here's ABC's Michelle Franzen.
At Westport Glass Company in Kansas City, Kansas, sales are soaring for owner Bob Dugan. Workers are crafting glass and plexiglass barriers for offices and stores. Dugan says he recommends glass over plexiglass.
It looks better, but it's a better protector, and it's going to last a lifetime. But if you want to buy plexiglass from us, we'll sell that to you gladly.
Dugan says plexiglass costs about half the amount of glass, but says it also absorbs more. A snapshot of innovation sparked by this pandemic and part of the new normal. Michelle Franzen, ABC News.
Thanks, Michelle. And again, Cooper Studios put out a video that they are working on these. I think they have got some plexiglass on order as well. But, good opportunity to call Amy and Forrest, see how they're doing, and check in on that opportunity. More Daybreak Show coming up.
iFiber One News Radio, 1030 KMAS and FM 103.3 presents Daybreak.
Hey, good Wednesday morning again, or is it Tuesday, or is it Thursday? Spencer, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. Happy Friday, TGIF. I never thought we'd get to the end of the week. Oh, wait a minute. We haven't gotten to the end of the week.
I know, it was a fast one. I don't even know if it's the start of the week anymore. If you're having trouble telling it what day it is, you are not alone. And if you're wearing the same set of sweats for the third day in a row, you are not alone.
New survey out there. Sweats, you're not alone.
That's true too. If you don't even have pants on, that's a whole nother category. But you're not alone either.
Oh man!
New survey of 2,000 adults by one poll finds the average person confusing what day of the week it is at least 5 times a week as they work from home. That means every day of the week they don't know what day of the week it is.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely fell into that. I'm finally back kind of into the swing of things for the most part. But, man, for a while there, I didn't know what month it was.
Here's one, too. On this survey, near 60% filled in the wrong day of the week while completing the poll.
That's interesting. Wow.
This was a big-time snapshot into quarantine life. 75% of respondents say they've given up on real clothes while at home. I think Stephanie has a point of pride that she's been wearing workout clothes this whole time. You know, I've had jeans on maybe 5 times to go out in the public.
Yeah, just kind of laid back, you know?
Well, what are you going to... It's not like you have to impress anybody at the office or anything. 22% say dressing as if they were heading, though, to the office helps them maintain a sense of normalcy. So there are some folks, and it'd be interesting to see the number at the beginning of quarantine versus the number now who do still dress up at the home office for that sense of normalcy. How is your focus these days? Ours is really waning. Me, Steph, Kaiser, all of us.
Yeah, no, focus definitely went downhill because it was just so much time to where you normally wouldn't be in a certain place and your focus might be on work, but now your work is in your home office and you have kids at home, a lot of people, and school for them, and the focus is on that for part of the day, most of the day. It's hard.
Motivation is a real challenge for folks as well. 65% say being motivated is proved to be tough. That's another one. You say that for the motivation, you know, especially now you'll look at a project that you've been looking at for months, and maybe before you would see it on your way to work and say, oh, I got to get to that.
Yeah.
And you come home from work and you see it and you say, oh, well, maybe tomorrow I'll have time to get to that. Now you're stuck looking at this project all day long. And you go, oh, I got to do it. I don't want to do it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have the motivation right now.
Exactly. They're saying using snacks could be a motivator. That's interesting. No wonder everybody's gaining the quarantine 20 or whatever.
It's exactly right. The quarantine 20 for 2020. It's like you're snacking a lot more. Everybody's cooking and baking more. I've got more cookies in the house than we know what to do with. And I say, I'm going to make a new cookie recipe. You know, we got cookies and bread and wow.
You're opening up a bagel shop in the old Moe's, Smoke and Moe's building, the old bank building. You got some bagels going on.
No, I am not. I don't want any rumors like that happening.
You could.
It'd be a lot of bagels. It'd be a lot of bagels to fill that place, though, wouldn't it?
Oh, yeah, man.
So anyways, it's a struggle for everybody. Last week for us was a tough week. I don't know why. Maybe because of Memorial Day getting closer. We're getting to the time where we want to, be out or be near our friends and family. We're eyeing, I guess, the supposed end of a regular school year. I don't know. It was tough last week. We're trying to be motivated this week.
Yeah, and it's hard, too, because summer vacation, the kids won't be doing the homework and the schoolwork and submitting assignments and getting grades, but then it's kind of the letdown. I mean, some things are reopening, so it's going to make it a little bit easier. You're going to be able to go hang out at the pizza place again and go places, but it's definitely going to be a very scaled-down summer for a lot of families and kids, especially who are used to going to, amusement parks and things that might not still be open, or a lot of concerts, I'm sure, are still going to be. I doubt a lot of these performers are going to start hitting the stages anytime soon.
Yeah, no, I know Keith Urban, he was going to have a big concert up at CenturyLink with Florida Georgia Line, Zach Brown Band, Michael Ferrante. It's going to be a great concert, but that's, obviously been postponed through the end of the year at least. And, and we hear about all the festivals and the music in the park, these free concert series. And just keep hearing those kind of notes. It's just, all right, let's be safe, let's be healthy, but let's figure out a way to kind of re-engage in society, I think.
Yeah, no, that's the key for sure.
Now, more Daybreak Show is on the way, and good morning to you.
Thank you so much for listening to today's Daybreak with Jeff Slakey podcast. Again, I'm so happy and honored you found us and chose to listen. Please subscribe, rate, review, and share this with your circle of influence. It's a collection of some of the interviews, news, and conversation during Daybreak with Jeff Slakey on iFiber 1 News Radio KMAS, weekdays from 6 to 9. Thank you so much again, and talk with you next time.